Sorry, we're not here to talk about car racing. I'm here to teach you about something more important, the basics of defensive driving. Hi, I'm Michelle Baumgartner, a professional race car driver. As you can see, I've changed it to something more comfortable, and that is part of tip number 1, making sure you're fit to drive. We're constantly having to avoid so many obstacles on the road, which makes it more important to defend yourself from harm. And it starts even before you get in the car. Make sure you are sober and well rested before getting behind the wheel and driving a car. I also suggest bringing a bottled water and some snacks. And also make sure to never use your cell phones while driving. Tip number 2, make sure your car is good to go. Obviously the first thing is make sure the engine sounds fine. Engine sounds good. And the next thing is to make sure that no lights pop up in your dash, which indicates that there's something wrong with the car. So one thing that you can actually physically check yourself is your tire wear. Make sure before you leave you actually have air in the tires and they're physically not worn down. So tip number 3 is you have to be comfortable in the driver's seat before you even start driving. What I normally do is if I stretch my arms, if I'm sitting all the way back in my seat, I stretch my arms, but the end of my palm has to be right on top of the steering wheel. So when I adjust my hands to the steering wheel, I'm at a comfortable position. I'm not locking my arms and it's not too tight and not too crowded. And then next goes for my seating position and my pedal position. So obviously I want to make sure that if I'm on the accelerator, my knees aren't locked out. Because syempre, if stuck in traffic, which we tend to be in traffic constantly in the Philippines, we still want to be comfortable even if we're at a standstill. Next thing is the mirrors. It's not necessarily in the center because I always tend to I need to see myself, and obviously the side mirrors, and I always put only a little bit where I can see the end of my car. The majority of my view from my side mirrors are the outskirts of the car. Alright, so tip number 4 is to be aware of your surroundings and to anticipate that anything can happen at any time. So something like this, these guys are crossing the road and not paying attention that a car is coming. So I already saw them and I knew what they were going to do, and I slowed myself down just in time. As a driver in control of a car, you have to be 100% focused on driving and everything around you. When driving behind the car, just remember to be cautious of what that driver could potentially do. Just like this car, we're driving behind him and he's all of a sudden slowing down, so I already knew that something was up. Just be wary of what everyone is doing because you cannot control what everyone else does. You can only control what you do. All right, so tip number 5, give way if you must. And I know that doesn't sound appealing to people that have the need for speed. And obviously, who likes getting overtaken? It sucks. But at the end of the day, it's better to be safe than sorry. In instances like this, we're driving at the same speed, but obviously this guy is just being overly too aggressive. At the end of the day, if I'm not gonna try and fight him, he's probably having a bad day and rushing to somewhere. Tip number 6, spot your exits. And which basically means to keep a safe distance between you and the car ahead of you to give you time to react to any accidents that can occur. And general rule of thumb is 3 car lengths ahead. So this distance gives you enough time to either brake, swerve out of the way of the accident, or swerve onto a different lane just to get onto the safety zone. But no matter how careful you are, accidents can and will happen. In a crash, you're counting on your car's steel body to protect you. But not all steel is created equal. Among car manufacturers, Hyundai is unique in the fact that it manufactures its own steel. Hyundai's new generation Kona, for example, uses more than 50% advanced high-strength steel, which is 10% lighter than regular steel while being much stronger. This also goes for models like the Tucson and Santa Fe. The Kona also comes with 6 airbags, ABS, traction control, and even front and rear fog headlights. Put that together with the rigid chassis and you have a car with very reliable handling and safety features in emergencies. Simply put, Hyundai SUVs not only give you a better chance of surviving a crash, but also avoiding one altogether. And that in itself makes for better journeys.